You know, folks, this game can really be confusing. It's called paralysis of analysis. Maybe my one claim to fame is that there was nobody who spent more time with legendary figures, golfing gurus, sports psychologists than I did. I spent a lot of my old man's money there many, many years ago. And it basically led to a serious state of confusion. We have to have some clarity. One has to focus on athletic fundamentals that simply work. I was fortunate enough to work for Walt Disney World for a number of years. One of the things that people loved when I said, well, when Bobby Knight threw the chair across the court and he picked up the chair, he didn't say, well, now let's turn the hips, get the weight back into the right side, let's drive the legs, stay behind it, and just keep our head behind it. Hell no, he picks the chair up, and as he's loading the chair, he took a step up on his front foot, the body rotated, released the chair out there like this, the back foot was in the air, and we said, this is getting 100% of your mass to a dead flat front foot. Correct? Yes, so everybody laughs. But it's sort of true. If you had to pick up a medicine ball, which is a similar weight to a chair, which is a resistant force, and you're going to throw it, as you're taking the ball back, you take a step. Most sports, you take a step forward. And when you take that step, everybody, you always step onto a dead flat foot. You wouldn't step onto a rolled foot, or you wouldn't be thinking about keeping your head down or following through. Because as you're loading, you're stepping, so at the top of your load, you're already up on your front foot, the body rotates, and you have some vigor, and the release is out in this way. You don't extend your arms. There's an athletic look to that. Wouldn't you all agree? Okay, so the key is, it's the decision that you all need to make. Do you want to be a front foot hitter, or do you want to be a back foot hitter? Trust me, 99% of golfers get in problems because they're on the back foot. My dad, the Black Knight, was renowned for the Gary Player step through. He always rotated his body to such a degree up onto his dead flat front foot that he took the momentum, carried him forward, and he took a step past the ball. I'm going to illustrate. So we get ourselves ready, we rotate, and we take a step past that ball. That is truly getting to your front foot. Why don't I see more people practice that? Do they think my dad was just lucky? Definitely not. So again, this is your front foot, this is your back foot. A quarterback in football, the cardinal sin for the quarterback is to throw it off his back foot. He wants his lineman to give him time. They give him time. As he loads, he steps up onto a dead flat front foot. The body rotates. He zips it in there, completely up onto his front foot. There is not even a little slight ounce of weight back on that back foot. What happens when he throws it off his back foot? It's the cardinal sin, and a lot of times he ends up getting intercepted. So to keep it simple is that you have your choice. This is your front foot as a right-hander. This is your back foot. You want your left foot sitting outside your left shoulder, because if you did happen to take a little step forward as you are loading, which we're not Happy Gilmore, we're not taking a running fly at it like old Happy Gilmore did, but as you're loading, if you did take a little step at the top of your load, just like that medicine ball, you would have more weight up on your front foot. You don't want this big old hip turn with all this weight back on your back foot. Golf's the only game that you play from a stationary position. Everything else is pretty much in motion, which you'd think would be easier, but it's actually tougher. So again, if I did take a little step as I was loading, I would step, my left foot would go outside of my left shoulder. It would be stepping onto a dead flat front foot. So there, I preset my left foot outside my left shoulder. I got a fairly wide stance. Even the French were smart enough to build the Eiffel Tower larger at the bottom than the top. So we got ourselves nice stable lower body. That's my front foot. I've teed some balls up here. I'm taking a little load to about 10 o'clock. And then I'm just going to rotate around that fixed front axis up onto that front foot. You can see how much mass is up on my front foot, everybody. Flat front foot, all the mass is through. Once again, move in there, like open that front foot. Most people carry that left foot far too square. They sit like this. You have to have that left foot open, at least 45 degrees. Otherwise, it's going to restrict the rotation through the ball. I mean, you want to have acceleration. You want the body to be rotating. Look at Tiger Woods. Look how fast his body rotates through the ball. He doesn't have time to think about all these other components. See, here we are again. Left foot open, stand wider, give myself some time, and I'm going to rotate around that fixed front foot. I'm up on that front foot. Look at that, all the way. You can see all my spikes back there. The body's rotated, completed the rotation. I'm like the Rock of Gibraltar, solid as the rock. And as you'll all notice, I've actually teed these balls up. Because if you tee the ball up, there's never any thought or inclination of trying to add loft to the stick, okay? You just let the natural loft of each golf club be the only medium that gets the ball in the air. Again, left foot sits outside the left shoulder. I feel a quiet lower body, and I know I just want to feel that body rotating around that front foot. Feels good. One more to move in, left foot open, nice smooth backswing. Nice. Look how solid I am. I'm like the rock. You've got to be solid as a rock. At the end of the day, when you go from the practice range to the first tee, the only thing you're in control of is your balance, is to stick the finish and look good. Because everything else, if you let the smoke get in your eyes, it's the beginning of the end. I'll need one more for you, and then we'll move into some of these drivers. Wider stance, left foot sits outside the left shoulder, because that's where we did take the step to. As I'm loading the club, I'm keeping a pretty quiet lower body. My right knee is very steady. It's not twisting around like this. Keep that right knee steady. Simply take the left shoulder, keep the left shoulder nice and high, getting tighter and tighter. The load of the backswing, it's like a big spring that's attached to the ground. When you turn the top, it gets tighter and tighter, and it's like, well, that elastic band like Ben Hogan spoke about, and then you got that inertia to just rotate through the ball. It's like one uninterrupted motion from the ball all the way to the finish. So I see where I want to go out there. Left foot's outside the left shoulder. Give myself some time in the load, then rotate to the finish. Up on that front foot, solid as a rock, and I feel good. The first 2 weeks are the toughest.